Nirja.
Kelly.
Halle Verde.
I've heard of it, but I couldn't totally define it for you, I'd say.
Fast fashion is when a style catches on quickly.
I don't think so. I think it's just like fashion in general. I never see like going and shopping as being like a fast thing.
No, I haven't.
What do you think it means?
Somewhere you can go and pick up something to wear really quick.
Maybe it's like you walk into a store and they already have some sort of clothing picked out for you and you just take it and go. It's like the fast food of fashion.
So I just got done asking people if they had ever heard the term fast fashion. I asked people just in some stores in Georgetown, and their answers really didn't surprise me very much. The term fast fashion is not very well known at this point. It mostly is a term used within the fashion industry. But basically what fast fashion is it describes the movement of clothing design from catwalks, from New York Fashion Week fashion shows, down to your everyday stores. So making these high-end fashion pieces at affordable prices for your everyday consumer. Some people within the fashion industry really actually praise fast fashion business models. They say that it's the democratization of fashion. Finally, your average Jane consumer can wear the clothing that she has seen maybe only in Vogue magazine or on clips of Fashion Week. But I think it's definitely worth mentioning. What I want to highlight today are the negative impacts of fast fashion. These are mostly environmental and ethical consequences that are very damaging to our planet and to the laborers who are working to make this clothing. According to Eileen Fisher, a fashion designer and founder of the environmental nonprofit called Vision 2020, the fashion industry is only second to oil in industries that cause the most pollution to our planet. Some of this pollution can be attributed to the fact that most fast fashion businesses produce their clothing overseas, and a lot of times these governments don't have strict environmental regulations. This lack of governmental regulation can allow for these fast fashion factories to release their harmful water into waterways. The issue of fast fashion is undoubtedly a wicked problem. There are many different stakeholders. There are producers, consumers, activists across all nations who play a role in producing clothing. The wicked problem of the unethical production and consumption of clothing in fast fashion touches on many sub-issues, such as the American culture of consumerism, the exploitation of the impoverished, and corporate irresponsibility and greed. The first stakeholder that I want to talk about is the producer. So the producers are really the fashion designers and the fashion brands, the fast fashion companies, the people who work at H&M or ZARA or Topshop. And their goal is pretty simple. It is to attract customers to buy their clothing, to make a profit. In order to make a profit, they have had to identify their demographic. Usually these consumers are very up to date with trends. They read Vogue magazine or follow celebrities on social media, and that's where they gain a lot of their style inspiration. Being young, the consumer also usually has limited financial resources. The third stakeholder is a pretty broad category of people, and they are environmental activists and scientists. Unlike the producer and consumer, these environmentalists would like to see the fast fashion business model cease to exist. Many people within this group have undertaken the task of communicating the harmful nature of fast fashion to the public by collaborating with environmental nonprofits and eco-friendly fashion labels. One environmentally friendly clothing brand is called Zady. It represents a collaboration of business professionals, environmentalists, and fashion designers. The founders of Zady refer to their clothing brand as part of the slow fashion movement that protests the wastefulness of the fast fashion business model. Their goal is to design, create, and sell clothing that is classic in style and high in quality without using harmful pesticides or synthetic dyes. But bringing widespread awareness to this issue is not unlike a battle between David and Goliath. You have Goliath, the moneyed fashion brands that have virtually an unlimited amount of resources, versus the environmentalists who have less resources and arguably a smaller influence on your everyday customer. As the negative effects of the fast fashion business model come into more mainstream conversation, consumers will have to more consciously decide where to buy their clothes from. And what about you? Where will you buy your next shirt?